What this book is about is a celebration of the plucky spirit of the American people. We hear too little about that. You know, we hear that America's a conservative country, that we're a cautious people, that we're a fearful people, that we march in lockstep to the corporate order. Well, horse hockey, that's not us at all. We're a bunch of mutts and mavericks. That's who built America, and that's who expanded America over the years and extended our democratic possibilities in this great, great country. Ordinary folks like you getting together in confabs like this to see if we can't take power back and extend that democracy even further. The people we write about in this book, and this is about just ordinary folks doing extraordinary things in business, in politics, in healthcare, in the banking, in the food economy, in religion, in so many different ways. The people we write about are not Rockefellers, they're not rich, they're not geniuses, they are not lucky, they're rebels. People who just looked at a situation and said there's got to be a better way to do it than this. In other words, folks just like you. We do in this book write about two or three great groups here in Wisconsin, including this one right here, Organic Valley, the great pioneering leaders of farmers coming together to create what they call the uncorporation, to incorporate values that are beyond the bottom line. Yes, they want to make a profit. That is one of their main values, but they also want to have a fairness and justice and equal opportunity for all, including their workers, including their customers, including the communities in which they operate. We write about the Union Cab Cooperative over in Madison, a group of scrappy cab drivers who were being treated with all the respect of a Kleenex by the owner of this company several years ago, and got together and first unionized and then secondly took over the company themselves and have forged a remarkable worker-owned little d democratic organization over there that allows cab drivers to have a middle-class life. And we write, of course, about this great group right here, the Fighting Bob Fest, now to be held in September the 6th over here in Baraboo. And I will be there, as will many other outsiders, but more importantly are you insiders who come together. And Ed's figured out a way to put the party back in politics. We could use a little of that, couldn't we? It's a fun engagement. If you haven't been over there, please join that. Those who say that you cannot escape the corporate tentacles, and that's what we're told from grammar school onward, basically, your role is to basically be a worker, be a consumer. Well, we're a bigger people than that. Yet they say, well, you can't break loose. A friend of mine, John Dromgoole, who's a pioneer down in Texas in the organic movement, he says, those who say it can't be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. And that's good folks like you. And I'm just so proud to be associated with you. And now you who are taking on the CAFO giants. You are showing the guts and the gumption to pioneer and to challenge the conventional wisdom, to confront the corporate order, to crash the bureaucratic barriers. And I know that this is not an easy thing to do. Woodrow Wilson once said, if you want to make enemies, try to change something. Well, all you're trying to change is some 60-odd years of ignorance and arrogance, avarice that has brought us an industrialized, conglomeratized, subsidized, and globalized food and agricultural system that is unsustainable. It's a system that runs roughshod over family farmers, runs roughshod over our soil and our water, over small business and rural communities, over food industry workers, over consumers, over food itself, over our people's values of fairness and justice and opportunity. The agribusiness powers get to thinking they're the top dogs, and we're just a bunch of fire hydrants out here in the countryside, you know. And that's what you're challenging, money and power. Again, that's not easy. You probably, some of y'all, and particularly in the isolated areas, get the feeling like that guy that B.B. King wrote about. Nobody likes you but your mama, and she might be jiving you too. You can get lonely out there. And that is why group meetings like this and coming together into organizations is so essential. Keep pushing. That's my message to you, because, first of all, you're winning. After all, anybody with an IQ above room temperature pretty well knows that the corporate ag boys, what they're doing ain't working for anybody but them. Yet they've seized control of national and state food policy. These are corporate lawyers and lobbyists, economists and bureaucrats, people who couldn't run a watermelon stand if we gave them the melons and had the highway patrol flag down the customers for them, yet they are in charge of food policy in our country. The operating principle of the ag biz powers, it seems to me, is that if brute force isn't working, you're probably not using enough of it, And they just keep hammering. If dumping 8 billion pounds of pesticides a year is not doing enough damage to our food and our environment and our cells, well, let's add genetic engineering to the toxic stew, tamper with the very DNA of the world's food supply. And while we're at it, let's force grass-eating cows, nature's own vegetarians, to become carnivores and even cannibals. Let's put animals in CAFO cages, the concentration camps of agriculture. Let's inject animals with antibiotics and sex hormones. Let's zap the food supply with irradiation. Then let's clone everything so every cow and every tomato will have the same texture, taste, and composition. If ignorance is bliss, these people must be ecstatic, They're turning food, nature's own gloriously diverse and rich abundance, into a widget, an assembly line, internally manipulated corporate commodity that loses all connection to our good earth and to our well-being. There's a phrase in Latin that is worth remembering: cui bono. Who benefits? Cui bono. Well, all of this industrialization, globalization, not benefiting farm families, that's for sure. So what, say the powers that be? Farm families, well, it's sad to see them go, but after all, it's like an ulster whose time has come, so let them pass gently into the night. Well, bovine excrement, they are not passing gently into the night. They're being mugged. They're being murdered. It's a long-term, carefully plotted mugging. Beginning, well, you can go way back, but you can also go to our old buddy Earl Butz, some years ago, Ag Secretary under Nixon, saying this trend toward less farms is not bad from a national point of view. It's good that we have been able to produce an increasing amount of food with the work of a smaller percentage of our population. This releases people to do something useful in our society. Wouldn't you like to buy him for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth? There's a budget-enriching program right there. Well, right on down the line. This attitude still is going on. The economists continue to say, well, the problem is we have too many farmers, This is why John Kenneth Galbraith once said, if we laid all the economists end to end, it would be a good thing. My message to you is that you are on the right track. You are the answer. You are the future. What you're building in this one-day conference, what you will extend from here, will succeed. And it will be accepted by the people. It will be indeed applauded by the people if you keep it pushing and keep going. And so that's my message here for you today.